If this fails, I am gonna go so ape shit. Like, I will destroy my desk and destroy my office. But I think we may be okay. I've like, I've rebooted, restarted the internet, but there have been from memory now this week, I have seen two different open reach vans in the area, and I feel like there's been a bit of some stuff going on. Now, over here, it says to me my dropped frame rate is currently 3%. There may be the odd little thing, but so far it seems okay-ish. So fingers crossed, we're going to be okay. That's all I can say right now. All right. Because if it's not okay, and I won't blame anyone who doesn't want to join the chat today because after 3 failed goes, I wouldn't be surprised if everyone just stayed away. But hopefully some people do join in, so I'm going to wait to see if anyone does come along. But so far, we should be ish okay. I hope so. Anyway. We're live now, right? So yeah, I think there's some internet things going on in the area. When stuff like that happens, there's practically zilch you can do. And before anyone says, well, you could just go outside on your mobile phone. Has anyone ever tried to do a live chat from a mobile phone outside? Forget it. You need to have a good Wi-Fi connection, which I normally do have a pretty good Wi-Fi connection. At the moment, it wasn't very good. Anyway, the plan for today, and I'm still hoping we'll have some people jump in and join in, because at the moment, no one's joining in. So it could just be me on the live chat. I can't blame people. I can't blame anyone if they don't want to pop on. But I'm hoping some people do join in. Hey, Phil, I've just rebooted, but there were still issues. Hey, Morris, there were still issues. And from memory now, there were 2 open reach vans in the area on Saturday. Or was it Sunday? Might have been Saturday and Monday. So there are some stuff happening with the internet for some people. And about 12 new bungalows were built just around the corner from me. And there's probably a good chance their internets are being set up. So, because when I was testing out the speed test, the upload speed was like, you're going to laugh at this, right? It was like 600 kilobytes. It wasn't even a megabyte, right? 600 kilobytes, I think. No, 600 bytes. Or 600 megabytes, not kilobytes. 600 megabytes. It wasn't even... No, I'm saying this wrong. Whatever it was really low. It was affecting the speed. Anyway, the plan for today was to... Can anyone just double check, though, the quality of the resolution coming through? Is it coming through as 2K, or are we down to 1080p? Because I think the quality might have dropped down a little bit. Yeah, I mean, Phil, whenever we have any of those days where your internet drops out, right? And it's not your fault, it's not your tools, it's just the internet because of an outage or there's some work going on, right? When stuff like that happens, don't you just feel like your life comes to a complete plummet? And then you sort of go, well, what could I still do where I can go outside? Well, unless you're able to go somewhere where you can get a good connection, there's no point taking your laptop. So you're sat in the garden hoping you're going to get like a decent 4G, 5G signal, and you're trying to still answer messages and do stuff like that. Maris, I created my WordPress website with a bunch of code and JS, and now I don't know how to check what code is in use. Ooh. Now, when you say what is bloating your website, if you run a performance insight check, you might get some idea of CSS, JavaScript, extra code. There might be extra things being DOM and rendered and stuff like that. So that might give you a bit of a clue. You have said your website's been built with a bunch of code and JavaScript. Now, how did you add the code? And Phil will disagree with me on this, and it's okay to disagree with me on this, everyone, by the way. But that's the reason I use code snippets, because long time ago, I would go into the theme and I would then have a child theme and I'd make changes. And sometimes you're rushing or you're doing things on the fly and you forget to make a note or something. And then you forget where something was put, which is why I hated it when people would build Visual Composer websites, because often they would hack into the code a lot and then you forget. And that's the reason why I like to either put my stuff into my site settings for my CSS or my, some of the codes and whatevers I like to do within code snippets. So I can keep a track of what I've got and what I'm doing. And a great example in a way is a bit like if I show you here at the moment, if I show you here, let me just pop it up like that. Like right now, I'm working on a code snippet, and basically you can see like 7 hours ago, 6 hours ago, 5 hours, 4 hours, 29 minutes, 18 seconds ago even. That's actually more than 18 seconds because I've not refreshed the page. As I'm working through iterations, in fact, sorry, I've just realized, wait, let me just do that. As I'm working through iterations, you can see I can keep track of everything I'm doing. So it's easy for me to enable a bit of code or jump back a step when I realize I've made a boo-boo and I want to go back to a previous bit of code and stuff like that. Bill says I should do a video on code profiler. You'd be surprised on what performance gains you can get. I have never actually looked at code profiler. Never looked at it. So I'll stick that on my list of things to have a look for. Free version, yeah, I'll have a look at that. If you can all just bear with me for a moment, I'm just going to drop a link to let people know that I am live, because quite a few people joined earlier when we went live at 2 o'clock. And unfortunately, they've all jumped off now, which is a real shame. So I just want to let people know that we are live. So, of course, though, if they've subscribed, they would have got an email to tell them we're live. So I suppose in a way I can just wait for them to rejoin. I'm just going to jump onto Facebook. Can you just give me a moment while I log in? Marius says he sells 3 packages. When you buy it, it sends you to checkout. Sorry, what do you mean? I sell 3 packages and when you... Hey, Tara Kangas. You sell 3 packages and when you buy it, it sends you to checkout. What, you mean on your website? Are we talking about your website here? When you say that, Marius, can you just clarify that a bit? Because I'm a little bit lost on what's happening there. So for anyone that's joined in, I'm going to show you a little bit of a code snippet I've been working on. I'm not there yet. I think I'm 30% complete. I still have 70% to do. So I just want to let people know we had... internet issues, but I am live now. Let me just quickly post this onto, because I feel like I lost loads of people at that point in time. So let me just quickly post that. Respect, would love a tutorial on WordPress and Elemental's inbuilt PHP functions. Yeah, I mean, you've mentioned that before, but like I said, the amount of time it would take for me to research and get it right and then do a video, what's in it for me? And you might say, ooh, loads of people would want to know about that. I, from experience, don't think a lot of people would want to know about that. In terms of elemental classes, there's loads of resources and I've done videos on that. Custom widget building, again, something could be done, but there is this danger with how much value is there in doing that. And I personally don't think there is a huge appetite for people to basically see a video on that. You could do a video, right? I could spend a day. Hey, is that Mark or Barbara? So I could spend a day researching and looking into this, but then is it really going to be of any value to anyone? Really? I'm just going to give it about 5 minutes before I show everyone the code snippet I've been working on. Hey, Barbara, hope you're okay. But honestly, I would say a detailed video looking at inbuilt PHP, building out custom widgets, maintaining them, you know, the classes and all of the wrappers and all of the DOM and everything that goes along with it. I could spend a day researching, and that isn't because I don't know what I'm covering. It's because I would have to ensure I fully covered it, prepping, thinking about the approach. Hey, Nick, testing out. Hey, Nick, you're going to love what I'm about to show you. Nick, make sure you stay 2 minutes. I'm going to show you something that I'm still working on, and I think it's amazing, right? Hey, Jürgen, sorry. I think there's internet issues in our area, so I've dropped my bit rate per second from 30,000 bits per second to 15,000 for the streaming, because there's an issue with the upload speed in the area. It's massively dropped down. Yeah, so I could spend time prepping, right? This is for a question respect asked, and I'll then spend time recording, editing. So imagine I lose 2 days of my life and only so many people watch it. Who gains from it? Probably you and a few others, but what do I get out of it? I know it's not all about the views, but I really have to feel like what I'm doing is going to have, it's like, it's going to be good for people that watch when I release it, but also it's good for people who watch later on as well. So sometimes people say to me, can you do a video showing me how to do X, Y, Z? And I look at it and go, but that's only good for you. No one else will care about this solution. So I'll investigate, I'll create it, and then you'll use the solution. You'll make money from it because it helps you with a client and whatever problem you got. What do I get out of it? Well, what's in it for me? You know, and if the video only gets like 100 views, I'm a little bit deflated. I'm like, nah, there's no one after this. Right, let me show you what I'm currently working on, okay? I started this 5 weeks ago, gave up after 2 days. Resumed it 2 weeks ago, gave up after 1 day. Because when you're working on something and you hit brick walls, do you know how much it demoralizes you? Because when I work from 5 a.m. until 4 p.m.-ish, 4 p.m., right? 5 a.m. And I'm very solid on my working. When I get on when I was working on this snippet, I was like 5 a.m. until 11 p.m., right? All day. My wife weren't here. My son weren't here. They were away somewhere. And I had the whole day from 5 a.m. And when you get to 11 p.m. and it's just not clicking, right? And you're hitting brick walls, it is demoralizing. And I was like, I'm going to swear now, public warning. Fuck it. I'm not working on this now. Fuck it. But anyway, I reignited that I'm going to crack this in a step-by-step way. Okay? So let me now show you what I'm working on. All right? So before I show you, give me a hell yeah if you want to see it, and hit the like button as well. Hell yeah and like button. Tell me, are you ready to see it? And by the way, this is still early days. Very, very, very early days, okay? And there's loads more I need to do. I've mapped out what I'm going to do. I know what I'm going to do, all right? Don't you worry about that, right? I know what I'm going to do, and I know what I'm going to do. Basically, that's all I want to say, right? I know what I'm going to do. Let me just make sure I've zoomed out the right amount here. Right, so I know what I'm going to do. Right, okay, everyone, let's go and have a look at it. And I'm down here. I'm about down here, by the way, okay? I was up here. I'm now down here, okay? So I'm still here, but I'm down here. Right, so this is let me just move myself a little bit, actually, just so we can see a bit more, okay? So I'm hoping you can see this screen pretty well, all right? Ignore the layout. This has been intentionally made in a very shit way with me making intentional mistakes just to show you how this is going to work, okay? So this is an Elementor page, and what I'm showing you will work on Elementor, Bricks, Gutenberg, WordPress Classic Editor, or whatever you want to use, basically on any theme and any page builder. This is not just for Elementor, okay? point number one, because I know sometimes I create stuff where it's very focused towards Elementor for some snippets and stuff. So we've got a container one, and we've got some headings. This over here, if I show you, is a H1 heading, right? This is a H1. This is a H1. This is a H1. That's a H4. Okay, that's a H4. I've then got text. I've got a button. I've then got an icon with no link. I've got an icon with a link. I've got an icon again, but this time it's white. You can hardly see it. We've got a H2, very small H2 over here. Can you just about see it? Again, very faint. We've got another H2, H5, H3. I'm not following hierarchy, HTML hierarchy. Can you see that? Can you see the problem? We've got multiple H1s. That's not good, is it? You're not meant to have multiple H1s on a page. H2, we've got another container and another container. I've intentionally done 4 different containers. So before I continue, do you understand the layout? Container 1, container 2. This is container 3, and this is container 4. Separate containers, okay? And if I have intentionally given it a particular tag, you can see that's a H4. H4 tag, H3, H3, H3. Does that make sense? Are we clear so far? So I'm just going to wait for you to say yes. Say yes if that makes sense so far, right? So I'm just going to wait for you to say yes, and it gives me a chance to have a drink because I'm talking at a rapid rate and I feel like I'm getting very overexcited by what I'm doing. You know when you have a microphone in your face, you have to go like that when you drink. Because if you try to drink with a microphone there, you hit the microphone. And I have done that a few times. Once I was like working, I went bang and I spilt on my microphone. Right, okay, right. Can you see down here, there's a button called audit. Can you see that button over there? Ding, 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 down here. It's red. It's red. Oh. Because when you're in edit mode, and I don't care what page builder you're using, right? Watch this. And this is still work in progress, right? The main is missing, and it tells me you need to add the main. The header is missing. The footer is missing. We've got multiple H1. We've got the wrong order. You know, you're not following a hierarchy. And we've got color contrast issue. But wait, right? Shut the fucking front door. Wait. There's a reason why I'm missing the main, the header, and the footer. I'm going to wait for someone to tell me, why do you think I'm missing the main, the header, and the footer? And if you watched my previous landmark video, you should get this. You should get... And by the way, we're not in preview. We're not on a live URL. I haven't gone to a third-party website and dropped my URL in, and then it goes, oh, your H1, you know, your landmark. Jeez. No. It's nothing to do with save. Look, I'll hit publish. Look at that. I've hit publish, right? Let's refresh the page. And by the way, you can pick the button up and you can, this, you know, you can pick it up and move it if you want. You can pick up this pane as well. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. There you go. You can pick up the pane as well if you want. Right? So look, I'll tell you why. Here's why I'm showing you something that I'm building out. So this is a sneak peek of something I'm working on. And I'm going to tell you more about it. Look over here, right? Look at the settings, right? Look at there. Oh, you can't see it. Can I hide myself for a second? Look over here. Page layout is canvas. If your page layout is canvas, right, or even full width, your main is no longer part of your page. Go and watch my video that I did on landmarks, the landmarker tool. If you didn't watch it, go and watch it. Very, very important. Let's go and click default, okay? That's now going to go to default, okay? Let me just hit, look, did you see what happened? The main, whoa, let me put myself back on. Because we're now using default theme, the main, the header, the footer issue is no longer present. Because when you select default or the theme as your canvas, the hello theme has already got the main built in, right? And if you've got a header with the header template, the header tag, it identifies it. The same with the footer tag, right? But here's where it gets really clever, right? Let me just hit publish for a moment. Are you still staying with me on this, right? Let's go over to this heading, this container here, right? Let's go to this container. Let's go to additional options and make this be a main. So we know the theme has already got the main, right? So I've now got the main as part of the theme automatically, but I've gone and made one of my containers be a main. Now, at the moment, one problem with this, and it's very difficult for me to get around this, is you do have to refresh the page, right? So I've gone and made one of my containers be the main. When I hit the audit, look at this. There's 2 mains, right? There's 2 fucking mains now. And it tells me that one of them is in my theme because I'm using the default canvas. And the other one, look, it's in my theme, highlights everything. But this is now telling me that here's the second one because you made that container be a main as well. So let's sort it out. Let's go over here, go back over to our additional options and put this back to be default, right? Let me just hit publish and I'm going to refresh the page, right? I'm going to refresh the page because what I want you to do is when you're building a page now, rather than you waiting until you get to the end, or you have to go to preview, or you have to install a plugin, or you have to stick your URL into another tool, I want to give you everything that you want to be doing here. And this is going to grow to have ARIA labels. This is going to grow to be, are your images in next gen? Are your alt images missing descriptions? This is going to be expansive. Are you using click here for your button? Do you need to make it more descriptive? Are you missing the attributes for a button, a link, an icon, shit like that? So let's just focus, right? Look at this. Look how many, and look what happens when I hover over each one. I've got duplicate multiple H1, right? There must be only one. There must be only one. Well, you get the idea, right? H1, look, there's one, there's one, there's one, there's one over there. And look, there's another one down there. It's identifying them all, and it says change them to H2 or H3s or stuff like that, right? So I'm going to go over here, and just for simplicity, I'm just going to delete that, and I'm going to change this one to be a H2. And look at this, look. Now it says H1, H1, H1. We've gone from 5 to 3. I didn't hit publish. I didn't have to refresh the page. Sometimes you have to. And it's now telling me. Now it says ignore. I'm going to get rid of this because this does not work very well. If you log out and come back in, it sometimes does forget. It sometimes does forget. So please ignore the ignore bit, right? Okay, look at this one. We've skipped levels for your headings, right? We're not following in hierarchy issue. Do you know something, Nick? I tried the recheck audit. So when you click it, do you know what? It threw up wobblies, but that is something I definitely am going to look into even a bit more. Right, staying on this, right? Look, it is telling me detected jump from H2 to H4. Can you see that on screen? We're jumping from H2 to H4, right? No, why does it say H2? Oh, sorry. Let me just change the text on this because I made it. So this is now a H2, right? I changed it to be a H2. Let me just hit publish because I want to make sure we do this correct. I went and changed it and I want you to see it on screen. Right, okay. The other great thing is it tells you the tags as well. So when it identifies an issue, you're not second guessing because what if that said Imran Siddiq? It will now tell you that was a H2. So we've jumped from a H2 to a H4. It suggests that you make that a H3. Logic kicked in. It doesn't just say, oh, the hierarchy's not right, like a lot of shitty third-party websites do at the moment. WebAIM, all of them, right? You stick your URL in and it will say, you're not following the HTML hierarchy. Go and click this link and you read an article, but it doesn't give you the fucking answer. You know why? Because they're piecemeal tools, right? They're not going to give you the full-blown answer because they hope you hire them to go and do extra work, which is what a lot of the accessibility experts kind of do. I'm sorry, I've got to call it out. So I would convert that to be a H3. Over here, we've gone from a H2 to a H5. So it tells me change that to a H3. But watch this. Stay with me on this. Do not look away from the screen. Stay with me on this, right? Over here, right? Okay, so it says change that to a H3. And then it skips this one. Do you know why it skipped that H3? Look, see how it skipped one? Because if you make that be a H3, well, the next one is a H3 anyway. So it's okay. I don't need to tell you to change that. But when I go here, we are currently a H2. Sorry, this is meant to say H2. Let me just change that to say H2. Because I went and changed it, didn't I? Make sure I've got, that's meant to say H2 as well. Sorry. That's meant to say H2 because it's a H2. That's meant to say H2 as well. Let me just quickly publish. I do hate it when I slightly put the wrong text in. Right, let me just refresh that. Right, okay, back over to here. Right, so that H5 should become a H3. This H2, right, should become a H4. Because what it does is it simulates. This will simulate. So it says, if you do make the change it suggested, logically, this should now become a H4. And if you follow the simulation, this H2 should become a H5. Because you're going to go from H3, so you'll go H3, H3, H4, H5, and it simulates it. It doesn't just say, oh, go from a H2 to a H3. It simulates that you are going to follow through the suggestions. Over here, we have a H2 that's gone to a H1. Because before it, you have a H2 over here, it's now telling you make that a H3. And when you get over here, because there's a little one here, you can just about see it, right? It's now saying, well, if that is currently, that is a H6, by the way. So because you follow the simulation and go from a H3 to a H6, that needs to be a H4. The suggestions it's going to give you, if you follow it through, will make logical sense. So now when you have got low, and by the way, it takes into account that you started a different section, right? So this one was not picked up because it's in its own section. And you may be starting a section. I recommend new sections where they're standalone, start with a H2 as a minimum. But sometimes you have a new section, which is not a standalone section or a new, focus area of your website. So you're okay to start with a H4. But here's where it gets even more interesting, okay? Look at this one. Over here, can you see that icon? It's white. Are you still watching, by the way? Who is still watching? Say yes if you're still watching. Look at this icon over here. I highlight it. Over here, it's telling me that the ratio is nearly 1 to 1 to 1. Because currently, I have a 50 pixel font, 400 weight. The font is white, and the background is F4, F4, F4. If I want to hit the WCAG 2.1 AA standard for that size font, and it does take your font size into account, because you have different contrast rules depending on what your font size is. You might need to be 3.1 or 4.5 to 1. It says either make your font 8C, 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 or change your background to 929292. It is telling you what to do. Let's go over to this one. So over here, I've got a header. You can barely see it. It's very small. And it says to me that because the font size is 15 and it's got a weight of 300 and your ratio is 1.4 to 1 and you need to be 4 to 5 to 1 or whatever it is, you currently got DO on a background of F4, F4, F4. You need to make your font be 70, 70, 70 or 58, 58, 58 for your background color to hit that color contrast standard. And then down here, I've got another one just over here. Right, you can just see it just barely there. In fact, I think I'm hiding it. Am I hiding it? No, you can see it. Just over there, you can just see the H. Again, we got an issue, and it's telling me what colors to use. So I'm going to do that, right? I am going to go and pick, or let's do it for the icon, right? Let's do it for the icon. I'm going to go and highlight that color. I'm going to go over here. And here's the really cool thing. I can edit with the pane open. I'm not in preview. I'm not on a third-party website where you had to publish, purge your site, purge your server, regenerate, go to a third-party website, drop your URL in, then test it, find out all your issues, make a note of them, maybe have it on a different screen, go back to your website and edit. I'm on the website. I'm going to go over here and we're going to go to here and I'm now going to pop in the recommended color and look at that. The problem disappeared. I'm pretty excited about this. I think this could help so many people make their websites logically better and not hit as many accessibility issues. And this is just the start of what I'm building out, by the way. There's still so much more I need to do. And guess how much this will cost you to get a copy of? How much do you think I should charge for this? Give me a price. Give me a price. How much do you think I should charge for it? How much do you think I should charge for it? How much do you think I should charge for it? How much should I charge for this? How much do you think I should charge? And this is, I've got a whole list of things I need to map out. I'm working on this bit by bit by bit. You can see me over here. I've been working on it today, reignited my passion for doing this. I'm working through stage by step on every little bit I want it to do and work through. Maris is saying $400. Jurgen says give it for free. I mean, there is a lot of work going into this, a huge amount of work. So I'm going to let you out of your misery, okay, and tell you that the cost for this will be per website. So this is, there'll be a license per website, okay, for free. It will be free, just like Jurgen said. It's a code snippet. It's not a plugin. It's not on GitHub. I can't be asked to put it on GitHub. I can't be bothered to build a plugin. But this is going to work across WordPress, right? So for instance, exactly, Phil. Exactly. And that's why I'm going to give it away for free. It's just a free code snippet, right? The idea behind it is that let's say WordPress includes the main landmark. If you don't understand landmarks, please put a search for landmarks or landmark in my YouTube channel, because there's two important videos you need to watch that you really do need to watch to understand landmarks, okay? And the landmarker tool. So WordPress includes main. Elementor includes main unless you use the Elementor or the the Elementor or the Elementor full width canvas. If you use default and theme, you're okay. Bricks does include it as well. But it could well be that you may use a template or a theme or a page builder that does not have the main landmark. And you may be assuming, and then you're going to go, oh, I've got to put a parent container in and I've got to go and stick like the main landmark in as a wrapper and then stick all of my containers in as child containers. And I got a website with 50 million pages. That's a shitload of work. Well, you could use this from the get-go and it will tell you you've got main. You've already got it. I mean, did you know that, like, you do have to think about your main when you get to your single post template and all of that? So go and watch my landmark video. I'm telling you, you need to go and watch it. But this will be for free. And I'm super excited that when I get this built out, I think there's still a couple of weeks because I have to fit it in amongst other stuff. I have a roadmap I want to get to. And I want to have this built out. So it's going to, I mean, I don't know if this was very clear for everyone. And let me just get it back on the screen. I don't know if some of you are appreciating this, but the color contrast is not just for headings and text, right? it also identifies it for your SVG icons, because a lot of tools out there do not tell you about your color contrast of your icons. They do it for your heading and your text. This is going to cover tons of stuff, and I hope this goes well. Phil says you could make it modular with a plugin. Code snippets are inherently clunky. Do you know something, Phil? My only worry is that the minute I go down plugin world, I'm I'll be exposing myself a little bit to supporting and stuff like that. But it is maybe still something I will think about in the future. But right now, I just want to get the code working. And I do also want to point out that as you're doing it, you can pick the pane up, by the way. You know, so maybe the pane is telling you about something that's down here. And if you want to see it, if you want to, helps if I do it properly. If you want to pick it up and move your pane elsewhere, it's always a problem when you're trying to do too many things at one time. But, you know, you can, and like I said, you know, if you're on like, where am I on the right page? And that's Facebook. But if you're on like a blank page, you should have no issues. And the button will be green. But the minute it picks up an issue, it's going to go red. And then it's up to you if you take any notice of that or not. I mean, that's the idea, Debbie. That's the idea. It's literally like when you're building out a brand new page and you haven't put a H1 heading, it's going to tell you you're missing a H1 heading. Your page hasn't got it. And maybe intentionally you don't want a H1 heading for whatever reason. So you can ignore it. Do you get what I mean? But it will tell you. And the minute you go and make like H1, H5, it's going to go, whoa, you're not following hierarchy here. Are you? And if you want to change it, you can do. And I've also tried to ensure that when it does explain things, so let me just move over here. Heading should move forward through the outline, HN. So your heading number can equal the number. So you can go from H2 to H2. It's okay. Or you need to go H2 plus 1. I just need to make that clearer for H1. You can have H1 on its own, but you should not have multiple H1. But then that issue would get here. There must be only one H1. Never go backwards or skip levels. For your accessibility, you're going to get told here. Text, heading, links, buttons, icons must be WCAG 2.1 AA, blah, 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 right? And you are also told, let me just pick this up a little bit so you can see it properly down here. It tells you what to do. So you're getting some tips, because that is what so many tools do not do for you. They'll explain things, but they don't explain it logically for your website. And the fact that this is the bit I love, right? This bit over here. So when it tells you to make a change, it simulates it for all the others. And it assumes that if you follow this through, this final one over here needs to be a H5. Because another tool might say you need to increase or change it. Increase and change it to what? If you don't understand hierarchy and the logic between one H1, your H2 should be your sections that could stand alone, like testimonial, services. But if it's not really a standalone, then you can get away with multiple. You could even start with a H3 or whatever. But if you don't understand logic and it just says the hierarchy's wrong, what does that mean? We get it, but not everyone will get it, you know? And rather than just telling you there's a color issue, it's going to tell you here, clear as mud-ish. I was going to build it with the colors as well visible, and I thought, nah, it starts to get a bit messy in how it looks. It's going to give you the color as well. So I like to think I make a difference, and I like to think that this year in 2025, there's 6 or 7 things. Is it 6? Is it 7? I always lose count. Probably 5, 6 things I've put out there this year as extra little tools to help you out really, really, really make a difference in how you build or what you use and make your life a little bit easier. And for me, this thing will be for me my flagship snippet. I mean, there is a snippets manager. Did you see that code snippet I put out about 2 weeks ago, where you could have a manager in your WordPress and admin dashboard now to deactivate and activate, which I think is flipping good. Like flipping bananas good. But this for me will be my flagship in terms of, don't care what page builder you're using, don't care what tool you're using. This will make, I think, a difference in helping you to overcome the fact that maybe you don't fully understand the logical way of structuring your website, but most of all, that you don't get hit by accessibility issues. Now, you could easily use another plugin. You could use Ally. You could use other stuff alongside this. But hopefully when you get to that stage, this has already ironed it out for you as much as possible. And this is going to grow. All right. Like I said, ARIA labels, descriptions. Are your descriptions vague? Like click here, see more. What does that mean? You know, do you need to make it a bit more descriptive? Alt text, are you missing that? Are your images not next gen? So if your images are not WebP or AIV, right? It's going to let you know. You can ignore it, right? This is just, right? You know, you can just ignore it. Just shut it down. You don't have to follow it. It's not going to interfere with what you're building. You can still build and everything, right? It's just an extra aid, an extra guide. The name for it at the minute is Page Auditor, but I haven't finalized that completely yet. But Page Auditor or Build Auditor or something like that. It just means that, you know, as you're building, if it suddenly goes red, you can make that decision. Do you give a fuck or do you not? Do you want to go in and correct it and make it better? You know, if your button contrast ain't right. I mean, there's so much. Oh, God. Let me see if I can get my list up over here. I mean, there's so much more I've got to build and test out. I mean, there's loads. There's so much I still got to do. So the ARIA labels, your images, I mentioned that, or you're missing the alt text like that. Your buttons. Is it that you've got a button or something that's missing, like the attribute to say it's a button? Is something missing somewhere? Have you got an icon with a link, but the icon does not have any any text? So how would a screen reader know where that button goes? I mean, logos. If you've got an image as a logo and it's using the site logo, you don't have to have an image, but an alt text description. But if you've got an image as your logo and that's not your site logo, so it's not being picked up automatically, then you need to add in an alt image description. All of that stuff being added in, kind of thing for you. Not added in, alerting you. And then you instantly can make that change. And that is probably the biggest thing. Hey, Chris Lava. That is probably the biggest thing I think this will do. When you fix it, or you make the changes that this recommends or suggests, you are making that change. So if it says, add this in as your ARIA label or your ARIA description, and it will tell you. It will tell you. In some examples, it might not be fully descriptive, but it will give you an example, right? It will tell you what to put and where to put it. And that's where it will be very elemental focused. But if you're using bricks or something else, you can use that and go and find where you need to stick it. Usually it'll be in a code spit or something. If you make that change and you save and publish, you've made it. What you haven't done is applied a fix that was not actually built in. Because let's say you're using a plugin or another tool and it says apply the fix, and then you stop using that tool, the fix is no longer there. The fix was applied through the plugin or the tool or whatever. When you make the changes here and you hit publish and you delete the code snippet, get rid of it, delete it, ditch it, your changes remain because you made the change. You changed the color, the style, you changed the HTML tag, you made sure you didn't have a duplicate main landmark tag. If you have another, look, let me just show you, right? Okay, I'm going to show you this, right? Okay, so let me now go over to this container, and I'm going to go to the additional options, and I'm going to make this be a header. I'm going to make that be a header, right? And I'm going to go over here to this container, and I'm going to make this be the footer. I already have a header template. I already have the footer template. So let's go and hit publish, okay? And I'm going to refresh the page. Right, I've already got the header, I've already got the footer, and I went and added in some more, right? Look at this, multiple header, multiple footer. Let's just focus on the header. Look, I've already got my header, and now it tells me you added it to that container. You did it again. What about the footer? I've already got a footer, sorry, down here, look, you can see the line at the bottom, right? So look, let me just do that. There it is. It's already there. But then you went and added it in again to get rid of it. So I'm going to go over now to my container, go back to additional. I'm going to make that be a default. And let's just do the same over here. There as well. And then I'm just going to hit publish and refresh my page. And that header footer issue, by the time this loads up, is now gone. All right. So you make that mistake because you didn't realize it was already there. Or your main, and then you went and added in another main, you'll know about it as you're building, as you're working. And I just think that, this is, look, let's just do it now, right? Let's go over to this particular heading, right? Let's go to style. And let me now pick white. Look at that. Straight away, you might just... I always recommend you actually hit publish, but it has now said, and we had 2 failures, and now we've gone to 3. Let me just refresh it. I always find that if you really want it to work properly well, no, wrong one, over here, right? So look, it's now saying you need to change your foreground or your background because that white color is just not good enough. But if I go back over here and I'm just now gonna change it to be, I don't know, something black like that, the issue has disappeared off there. So some of the stuff it does quite well real time as well as you're building out. And if you had no color contrast issues, that line would disappear. If you had no order skips, that would disappear. If you did not have multiple headings, that would disappear. It's only going to show you where there's a potential possible problem. I feel like I've been speaking at breakneck light speed here. Like, I feel like I've been overdoing it a little bit there, but I hope, I hope you like it. I really do hope you like it. And I'm sure, I might not cover off everything. And I'm sure there's going to be some people who don't like what I do or how I've done it. The minute you enter anything to do with accessibility, get ready for a load of bullshit to be flown your way. It happens, all right? And some people will disagree with maybe some of the suggestions I make or not. I am planning to run this by a few accessibility people. I'm not sure how much they're going to like it, though, because they have their business models. And I'm not trying to ruin anyone's business model or try to say what you do is not needed or not valuable. But I just think that something that's going to help us. I mean, when I say us, I get it. I know what I'm doing. But that's going to help, well, yeah, us, me, you, everyone build better. That's got to be good, right? It's got to be a good thing. And it will be a free code snippet, probably the flagship code snippet. I really do think this will be the icing on the cake for 2025. This will be like, of all the snippets and stuff I've done this year, this will be the big one. And this has been on my mind a while, but I didn't start doing it, like really trying to attack it, until 5 weeks ago. And originally I tried to do everything, like everything all in one go, and it started failing and falling over. And I tried again 2 weeks ago and I still fell over, and I was trying to fix issues while still doing everything. And then I was like, no. Let's go back to a version of the code which gave me the audit button, but nothing else. So let's just start there, ground zero. And now let's do the multiple H1. No, let's do the main. Let's do the header. Let's do the footer. Let's do the heading, multiple H1. Now the hierarchy. Now let's do the color contrast. And I'm going to build it step by step by step by step. Test, stress test it out. Put it through its paces, make changes on the page. What do I expect it to have told me, and what did it say? So is that the logic? Is it overthinking it? You know, I mean, I love the way I've got it to do the simulation as well. So if you follow the suggestions and it simulates it to tell you what to do next, I think that's wicked. Exactly, Debbie. Yeah. And that's the thing, right? So many third-party tools and websites, they'll tell you there's a problem. I'll tell you what, the one I hate the most, right? Page speed fucking insights. I'm sorry for swearing, right? You run a performance check and then it says time to first byte, and it will tell you the image. And then it gives you a link that tells you about the theory behind largest contentful pane and time to first byte. But it doesn't actually give you a solution. And a lot of them don't. And that's where people get stuck. But that's why I created the load primer tool. Go and look at that code snippet. It helps you to load, load prime load, preload fonts and images for your hero banner. Exactly, Chris Lava. Exactly. This is what I mean. Because you could have like, say it becomes mandatory where you, in your area, right, your country or where you live, and you've got 10 people and one person gets it and the other 9 don't. You can do presentation after presentation and show them this and read a book and watch this video and watch a seminar or a workshop or a live chat. But if you don't get it, you don't get it. But the minute you start building and those problems, you are alerted to it and it now tells you what to do, you learn. You're learning on the go. There's nothing better than hands-on learning, right? Whenever I've gone anywhere, there's no point me learning from anyone else because they either can't articulate or they just tell you what they know or what they think was the best way to do it. And then you realize, nah, it wasn't the best way. That was actually the rubbish fudged way. Do you know what, Nick? That is so true. So many times, right? You see, sometimes, I mean, in the old days, I'd be like that. How do I solve every issue? And it used to really muck my head up. Graphics department just loves when I come back to them with sorry color. Oh, I bet they really love you, Chris Lava. I bet they really love you. But wouldn't it be great when you're able to now just kind of go back, or when you are building, you're able now to say, well, I can either change the text color or the background. You got 2 options here. You don't have to do both. You can pick which one you want to go for. So I want to keep the color, but I'll tweak the background. Or do I keep the background and tweak the font color or the button color? So yeah, I'm I'm sure Nick, this is aimed at Nicholas now. I bet you've been watching this, Nick, and I'll be honest, right, Nick. When I first started working on this, and then I heard about Ally, I did go, maybe I don't do this. Maybe I don't do this. But I'm covering things in a different way. And also, I'm going to be covering a lot more than what other tools do. And the thing I'm really passionate about is if we can identify problems and fix them. Hey, Soaib. If we can identify and fix them while we're editing, that's the holy grail for me. That really is the holy grail, you know? So yeah, that's the holy grail that I'm trying to achieve. And I think you can see how excited I get about this, how passionate I get about this, how animated I get. This is not fake. I'm not paid to do this. No one's paid, telling me do this and sell it. No, this is for free. I get really animated about things that I know are going to help so many people. And I know they're going to value it. And I know that this is going to answer so many questions and help educate people as well. And when I know I've made a difference, I cannot explain that wonderful feeling I get inside. It's the warmest feeling ever. And when I fail, when I know I've messed something up or messed someone's website up or said the wrong thing, or I'm told I got it wrong, it's gut wrenching. It's like it's really, stab to the guts. I feel everything inside of me just sink. My brain, my heart, my head, everything just go down. So I will get this cracked. That's my promise to me, to you. I will get this cracked. And one day, you'll see the video coming out with the build auditor or the page build auditor or the WordPress auditor. I think it's the WordPress auditor, isn't it? This is the WP auditor. And you know what? This should be something that Automatic, the Matt Mullenweg, that every page builder should be promoting. It's free. It'll be free. I don't make anything out of it because this is going to work on WordPress. This is going to work because it does work, right? It does work. Let me just double check some of the things I'm saying. Vertical audit can help me yesterday, survived today. No problem, my friend. I'm really glad the vertical carousel automate. I mean, it's not perfect. Believe me, it's not perfect. But compared to what other people were saying you do, it is so much easier and simpler, isn't it, Sahib? Would you agree that it's the simplest way to build out your auto-scrolling vertical? No, was it the vertical accordion? Yeah, the vertical carousel, wasn't it? Backstreet 355. Has anyone had issues before with Elementor paste style? Install a new fresh website, raster and style. This never happened to. It all depends on where you're pasting from. Are they the same version? And when you say paste, no, your paste style should not be a problem. But if you've got pre-built styles in your theme, maybe that's overriding it. Is it your colors and stuff like that? You can't post links onto here, Suhaib, so unfortunately I can't see what you did there. Thanks, Jürgen. I mean, my aim is not to compete with WebAIM, Ally, Equalize Digital, or any other accessibility product. This is a Web Squadron baby of what I would like to know when I'm building a website. What's important for me? What's important for web accessibility as well, to a point, right? And I just feel like if you can tick a lot of boxes with this is going to help you out massively. And the fact you don't have to even go to preview or anything like that. Backstreet, I just answered your question. So you say paste style, but are you pasting from one website to another to make sure your Elementor versions are correct? It could be inbuilt styles inside of your theme or template. So I've already answered that, but we would need more details. And my recommendation to you is you need to go over to Facebook, and go over to the Web Squadron group and go and paste it over here. Add some details, whatever, and hopefully someone is able to answer a little bit more. So same page text, it's not clickable at all. Okay, so what's your PHP memory limit? Have you run WP sweep to clear your revisions? When was the last time you regenerated your CSS? When did you last purge your site or your server? So if it's a disable button, obviously I'm guessing you are using Elementor Pro. What's your PHP limit? When was the last time you regenerated, purged your site and server? And is this a completely brand new website? Or is this a website where maybe you need to clear out the revisions? So there's loads of things, but very much depends on what you're doing, what you're using, and how long you've been doing it. Swabe says, please make a video on how to make a framework or Webflow flavor. So the thing about Webflow or Webflow website type design is it depends on the design. So I would say what kind of design you got. And like I said, right, maybe if you go over to here, to the Web Squadron Facebook group, don't say, how do I do this? Because no one likes that. People get offended by that. But if you say, if I was going to recreate this in Elementor, which bit do you want to recreate? Don't say the entire page, because no one's going to care. We ain't got time to answer everything. But which bit? And maybe we may be able to post some ideas. But, you got to keep it. You got to keep the question focused, stuff like that. Right, so you got 256. Your 256 is too small. You need 768 as a minimum. Cheers, Nick. I'm glad you saw it, Nick. I'm glad you saw it, because that means a lot. Someone from, the moderation side of things gets to see it as well. And you can see the potential value in it. So that does mean a lot, Nick, but you take care. So 256 PHP is way too low. You need to be 768 PHP limit. You need to use WP sweep, clear your revisions, regenerate your CSS, purge your site, purge your server. Right? If it's freshly new, just regenerate your CSS, but you need to be using 768. I don't think it is fully just your PHP, because it could be your theme. Don't forget, you are using a starter theme. So here's my challenge to you, right? Backstreet. If you use Hello, right? Elementor Pro and Hello, right? And now you copy and paste. Does it work? Because this is the thing I think a lot of people don't do. You got a website, loads of plugins, loads of stuff. Oh, it don't work. It's Elementor. Might not be. Elementor Pro, Hello. Put your text in, put your header in, style it, copy, paste style. Does it work? And if that don't work, then there's something else going on, right? But if you can prove that it doesn't work with just Elementor Pro and Hello, and nothing else working, nothing else running, and the Hello theme, and you've not messed around with the child theme or anything like that, and you haven't got any other site setting custom CSS kicking in anywhere, copy, paste, what happens then? Osteo Agency Web, how you doing? I'm actually about to jump off because I've been going on for 1 hour, 3 minutes. I strongly recommend you watch the video, like from the start, especially I think around about the 10-minute mark or some point around then. You need to watch it, because I gave a lot of people a sneak peek of a brand new code snippet I'm working on. Look, thanks for being here. Thanks, everyone. Hopefully I'll be back tomorrow. Just gave everyone a sneak peek. I'm really excited about getting this cracked and built out and everything like that. Nice. Hey, what's France like? It's raining over here really a lot at the moment. But I'm glad what I'm doing here is helping you. Osito. I said osteo. It's Osito, right? Sorry about that. Jurgen, do you ever use a Hello Child theme? No. I can't be arsed with child themes, Jurgen. Especially when like the Hello theme might be updated and you got a child theme and then things get messy or deprecated or whatever. So I just use code snippets. And that's why I don't need to use a child theme. And if I drop dead, right, and the client's got the website, another developer doesn't have to go in and start second guessing where the changes have been made. Parent theme, code snippets, they can see what the changes are. So it keeps it simple for everyone. What time is it, Chris Lava, for you? What time is it? What time is it for you? Right, so you changed the theme, right, but Backstreet, what plugins have you got enabled? So you got the Hello theme and Elemental Pro and no other site settings or custom CSS or anything like that. 8:30. I mean, I am considering going a bit later, maybe 1 hour later, but I'm still debating if I'm going to do that or not. I'm still debating if I'll go like start roundabout now-ish, maybe. But I'm still debating it because I know if you're in America, if I start at like 2 p.m., it's going to be, you know, depending on where you are on the American coast or whatever. So if you're in New York, I think it will be, I think New York would have been 10 a.m., I think. And then it would have been 7 a.m. when the live stream started-ish, round about then. And then we had a technical glitch and restarted. So a big chunk of my audience are from the United States of America. So it's, I don't know, it's trying to juggle up what time I do it. Because my son's not going to be home for another half hour because he's got football training. Can't wait to hear about that. But yeah. Let me know in the comments what you thought about that code snippet I'm working on. Does it have your approval? Will it make a difference? Are you looking forward to using it? And I hope so. Western Canada. So yeah, that'll be, you know, that's not too far off like California time-ish kind of thing. Something like that. You need to live stream per day soon. Well, I did yesterday. I did today. I hopefully will be back tomorrow as well. I hope to be back tomorrow. Okay, everyone, I'm going to jump off now. Take care. I'm going to go and do a bit more work. Got some emails. Loads of emails have come in. Going to go through some of them. And yeah, I'll see you all hopefully tomorrow. And yeah, I'm going to keep working on this code snippet. And hopefully you will see it very, very soon. I would like to think I get it ready by the beginning of October because we've got 20 odd days there. So yeah, let's see how we go. Take care, everyone. See you all soon. Like, subscribe, share, and follow. If you've not signed up and joined our YouTube channel for exclusive videos on the web designer reset and stuff like that, please go and do it.